So yeah, my point is that playing on the same side with like 4 stones is usually room for disaster. So for black, which black played correctly, black is expanding much more. He's very three-dimensional compared to your 2dimensional group.
Yeah.
This was good. This was bad. So,
Mm.
Marty, where all your advantage was, it all went away.
Yep.
Right here. So this was bad. So usually when black invades the corner, then black wants to make a group here that lives. So traditionally we would play this, and then you could see that black right now is alive, so you could actually Tanuki now, and you could take this. And I'm
Okay.
sure like something like this would have been much more pleasant for you.
Hmm.
That's the traditional style. The new modern Joseki that the computer plays is this one, which you didn't get to see, but in both of Chip and Jory's games, they got to play this.
Mm.
So this one you can see is undercutting white.
Yep.
And if white makes the mistake of blocking down here, you can play this. And so now you have your 3 stones plus a 1 jump, and it works perfectly. He can't cut you. Because if he tries to cut you, he dies. You
Yep.
have 3 stones, and so you have enough liberties to outlive this. So this is why this move is so good, because it leaves an undercut here. So white should block this way because, as I said, this is a disaster for white. And you can, like, to me, this is very natural, right? You're trying to get the Romeo Juliet split. You're building your territory more. Very natural move. And once again, a very natural move. So at this point, black is alive. And once he fixes, you can Tanuki and then take the good point, right? You could even attach here if you wanted to, or something, or shoulder hit, or shoulder or cap here if you were like not wanting him to build a Moyo here. But I like one of these moves most. This one, or this one, or this one. But when we have this, there's a cut here, and now there's not 3 stones, right? This is only
Yep.
two
Yep.
stones.
Yep.
So there's a big weakness. White did not take that weakness, per se. So for you, Chip, there's 2 cutting points. And just like we talked about in the last review we did, we talked about how important having 2 cutting points is. So you can cut actually on either side of these, and you would have been fine. So we can see if you cut here, if black takes, you get a full corner. And this wall looks very nice with this extension. If you play on this side, or if you play on this side and black plays this way, then you play here. And now you can see you've cut A and B, and so this is a great result for white right now. Even if you play this one, right, this is the same thing. You get a full corner, and then you have a nice wall here. Or if he plays this one, then pretty much the same exact thing, right? So 2 cutting points, usually bad. Always make sure to read the cuts here. This move is allowing black to fix black's self. He's allowing black to fix itself. And so this was not good.
Yeah.
And then Marty decided that he would let you slide. So
And I knew as soon as I placed that was a mistake.
yeah,
I wanted to kill myself. But okay, yes.
yeah, you got 2 weaknesses. Yeah, so instead, if you played here,
Yeah.
white
Yeah.
can't escape, right? And so the
Yeah.
best white can do is take these 2 stones.
Yeah. Yeah.
But now you have Sente, which is the difference on what I was showing you when white took the corner.
Yeah.
Before, I believed it was white had Sente, or at least it felt like a good position. But in this instance, you're like perfectly out. These stones are very weak, and you get Sente, right? So you can play kind of really anywhere you want. Maybe something like this, or yeah, I would like this one because you can keep white in. It's very difficult for white to live here. In fact, I don't think he can, right? Like this doesn't look like it's gonna make 2 eyes here. So this cut would have been brutal. So it was very sad, and as you said, you regretted it immediately.
Yeah.
But yeah, so in this case, you gotta let go of the 2 stones, but then you come out with 2 of your own stones you get, and then a good position.
Yeah.
So the key was not to play this ever again, right,
Right.
Marty?
Right. Never.
Never again.
We will never see that move.
So if you want, people make this mistake, but this is the same thing where the issues are here.
Yeah.
So the traditional way is this one, the modern way is this one. Whichever you prefer, I don't mind. I always play the more modern way nowadays, but I wouldn't be mad at this. But this is where the problem was, is too much weakness.
Yeah.
There's already something breaking your tiger's mouth and peeping at your weakness, and then you didn't fix it, right?
Yeah.
So I remember before we used to talk about this move, right? Remember where white comes in, you have this nice move
Yeah.
here?
Yeah.
So this is
Believe it or not, I thought I was putting pressure on that white stone.
This one here?
Yeah.
Technically you are, but at the cost of losing a full corner, right? And so I don't think it's worth losing the corner. But once again, you are correct. This is a lot of pressure on these 2 stones. So it just had to be completed with this move. So maybe this stuff might be too slow for white. I like it actually. But
I thought I could kill those 3 like basically Shores of Liberties, but when he connected, I was like,
yeah, right here. Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, you still came out, This capture is, I think, a little too slow, though. Maybe not. I mean, it is putting pressure on this group, so I'll allow it. As long as this group can't live easily, then I think this is a good move, actually. So all in all, this is good, Chip. This was the problem, Marty, for you?
Yeah. Yeah.
So do you remember, I always tell you to try and have a balance of low and high stones,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Like high, low.
Yeah.
Use a double high, but so I think you should have been able to see this one. Were you afraid of this, or?
I no. I mean, I know you can't cut the knight's move so close to the edge.
Yeah. So this it brings you out more and gives you more living space, right? Because if you play something like this, like this, I'm sure you wouldn't feel bad about this, right? This actually looks pretty decent.
Yeah.
But yeah, when you played this, you're just very flat, and then it allows you to stay flat, and so this is really, really bad. You're almost dead. Chip, at this point, we have 2 cutting points. This seems to be a running theme in all of your games. But at this point, we have to figure out which one we want. So, let me just think. How can I explain this better? So, if you were to take this one, what you would get out of this is a nice cut here. So essentially, you Atari, and he pushes, and because you have the stone here, you can now block this entire area. And then once he has to make something, right, he's got to kill one of your stones, you end up coming out with this group being cut. And so A and B becomes cut. And then this group is very weak, so you're going to have a good time. That's really all I can say about it.
This is another one where I got, in the heat of the chase and forgot my fundamentals, the big picture.
Yeah, I mean, I could see why the mistake was here, because normally I tell you not to Atari when there's a crosscut. But the difference between this crosscut and normal crosscuts is you have an extra stone. So now you have something where you can bully it into it and then take full advantage of it. And even if he takes this stone, then you can Atari, and then this should feel really good for white. So black shouldn't take this stone because even if it goes like this, it still looks pretty good for white. White's very solid with like a huge outside. So yeah, that was it. There was like a couple of places to go. This one looks like the better one to me. So at this point, you played here, and this is a part of your greed. Just like when you peeped over here with Jory, I feel like you try and kill things that you might not be able to kill. Does that sound right?
It does. I was more focused on creating a false eye and not thinking about how it allowed him to squeeze out into the center.
Yeah, he can just come out, which Atari, and then he's out, and then you have many weaknesses. So,
Yeah,
like, if you have to fix, then he's definitely out, right? There's no
yeah,
way. So instead of going for like the kill, even just playing something simple like this, he's
yeah.
gonna have to make life, right? Because he only has one eye. So this is now two eyes. But you ended up getting a very thick outside, right?
Yeah.
This group is dying, and then this is really, really nice looking.
Right.
But you do, from what I've seen from your habits in the past few games, you go for unreasonable kills, and then that usually can lead you to getting your butt your butt bitten.
Yes.
Right? Yeah. So, sometimes it's fine to let your opponent. Well, yeah, if you can't kill your opponent, right, which you can't, then you gotta find a way to, use it to your advantage, right? Like if he
Right.
has to spend a move to live, and you get all this thickness, then
Yep.
this is good, right? Even
Yeah.
if he's able to, I wouldn't let him come out, so I would spend the time to block him. But yeah, anyway, so that's what happened here. For black, you could Atari here,
Yeah.
and then Atari again, and even get another Atari if you
Oh, yeah.
Tanukis. So then
Yeah.
you can come back and fix.
Yeah.
And so this is like you're really out now, right? Like it's very clear that you're out.
Would have been better.
Yeah, and you should have two eyes. I mean, you might not, but with all this running space, you really don't have to worry about eyes right now. This one, it allows white to break your tiger's mouth, right? So it breaks the shape.
Mhm.
And then you have to come back, and it should feel bad, right? Like I'd feel bad if I had to come back like this. Whereas even if you just played this, and then this, you don't have to come back.
Yeah.
I mean, technically this is coming back, but it's just good shape. Okay, so you know this. We've talked about this.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Oh shit. Oh yes. Oh
Yeah.
no.
So whenever you
Yes.
squeeze tightly like this, and he fixes himself, all he did was help himself, and then you're hurt with a weakness, right?
Yeah.
So the bamboo cutter is the key Tetsuji here.
I thought it was the nose. That's what I thought I missed.
Yeah, and so we can see, I mean, obviously if white tanukis, then you kill. If white attaches here, then you're in the lead. See the difference between
Yes.
here and here? The white's in the lead. Right?
Yes.
And you have a weakness.
Yeah.
So there's a huge difference. This bamboo cutter, one day you won't even have to think about it. You'll just know.
But it wasn't yesterday.
And if white tried coming out here, you can see the Atari works for you, which is great. And then if white plays here, this is the most complicated one. So black would cut, and then Atari, and then Atari this way. And so now you can see that, yes, white can get out, but black shouldn't be okay, right? Because this is still in a lot of danger. And once the danger's over, you still have plenty of room to run. Still have plenty of places to go.
Yes.
And with this being cut off from this, it's very possible that, one of these could die, right? If he cares more about this and you're able to kill this would be good. And if he cares more about this way, then you can come out here or here and start killing this group. So, the bamboo cutter is the key. It's a very good Tetsuji to know. And even if you can't find this move, this is just wrong because it just opens you up for weakness and you're behind. So, this was what I was talking about, Chip. You remember? I was telling you about the table shape that you did, and I was very impressed. Where'd you learn this? This is really good.
It's been in a number of books that I've studied. It's just the first time I've actually thought I don't know. It's the first time I've ever actually played it at the right time.
I'm glad I got to witness your blossoming. Right, you're like a cherry blossom, and you just opened up. But no, this was great. So this is attachment is good. See, right now you're outnumbered, right? You're outnumbered in a bad area. So just like what I was telling Jory, using attachments when you're in a scary area, will get you far. Will get you places. So like if you remember, Jory did something like this, right? And then he, you played whatever, and then he even played another move, I think. He played some bad move, right? Like an attachment, like over here or something. Yeah. Remember what I told Jory about Dogface and stuff. But the true key here was what you did. You used an attachment, which made you stronger. For Black also played very well. So Black Haned, which is correct. And then Black broke the tiger's mouth, which is correct. So both players are playing all the right moves here. So everything was going very well for both of you guys. In this case, I think Black is leading in points, at least in the Moyo potential of points. And a lot of that was because of this move right at the start of just being two-dimensional. Chip. So Black still, in my opinion, was doing very well in this game, and something happened where then it changed.
something terrible happened. Huh?
So Marty, we talked before about the 3 and the jump when you're not against the wall, right?
Yeah.
So like here it works because you're close to the wall on the third line, but here it doesn't work because you're in the middle of the board. So once you made the jump here, it allowed White to create 2 weaknesses.
Yeah.
So once again, this talk of cutting in 2 weaknesses comes up. I think this is at least the second review or third review where we keep seeing this.
So what should I have done?
Just stay. Stay looks fine.
Even though why can't he cut now?
He can, but then you can cut through, which creates some weaknesses. And then also, to me, you still look okay, right? Maybe I think I played out some variations. So if White has to guard, right? If White has to protect his 3 stones in this area, then you can come back with this. And so now it's a loose ladder.
I see.
So he can't get out.
Yeah.
And if he does this, there should be a lot of things you could do here. White has to protect, right? And then you can continue pushing forward. What the best push would be, maybe I'm not sure. This looks nice because it creates a snapback.
Yep.
And then you can jump forward, and so you can just break apart everything here. And as long as you make 2 eyes,
yes, as long as that happens.
Yeah, as long as you make 2 eyes, you'll be able to. You destroyed everything that Chip was trying to make, right?
Yeah.
And so this is very risky for Chip to play this way. So this one makes much more sense for me to play. But if we go that risk, you can keep working down here to make 2 eyes, right? Which I think you should be able to get one, especially if all these white stones die. 2, even if you can't make two eyes, if you can't make another eye down here somehow, you still have this jump and this jump, which is attacking these stones still.
Right.
So he's
Right.
gonna have to worry about these stones, and then you can just make some more shape.
Yeah.
But yeah, one of the key to boil it down it to like a key phrase that's easy to remember is the the 3 stones plus a jump doesn't work in the middle of the board. It only works on the third line of the board. Once you do this in the middle of the board, 3 stones and a jump, once they cut through, it creates too many weaknesses. The difference between the here on the bottom is you have the wall that helps you. See?
Yeah.
So because of this wall here, he has nowhere to go, so he just dies. But in the when you're in the middle of the board, once you cut here, you have all this running space, right? You're not bumping into a wall here,
Yeah.
and so that's the difference. Does that help? Yeah.
It does. I mean, I know that I jumped because I was trying to connect the two groups, and that really was my hope.
Yeah. In this case, I'm assuming you read this cut, and that's not what you wanted.
Right. That's right.
But with the strength that you have, so this group's strong, even if you didn't find this move, which is really good, but even if you just played like this, I think you
then
can...
then it would be fine.
Yeah, you can still make two eyes without having to connect.
Yeah.
So yeah, this technique just doesn't work in the middle of the board. That's one thing you should try and take from all this. Atari. Oh yeah. So I think black should have just answered here. Because once white, there was a reason. I'll find it. Let's see. I think white can just take this now.
Yeah.
Yeah, because...
All right, Chip.
Take it easy. Yeah, white can just take this now because even if you Atari, right, like white capture.
Right. But then I thought I would just Atari back. It just seemed like not an important thing to do at the moment. I mean, I know I didn't handle this right, so I don't know what I'm saying, but...
Yeah, no. It's good to we figure out what you were thinking at the time. You know what I mean? But yeah, so if white takes this stone instead of this one, then this group connects with this group, and this would be really bad for you. So that's why I felt black should play here.
I see.
Even though white's probably gonna live here, at least he didn't get to connect, and then you can move on. Right?
Yeah.
But yeah, so this one was the shorter of the two reviews, and A and B. Yeah, so it looks like you were resigned here.
Yes.
And I think you thought this was dead. Do you think this is dead?
Yes. I mean, that was really what I thought.
Okay. So if you just played here, you have two eyes. So even if he takes, right, like he can't stop the eye down here.
Right. I knew there's one down at the bottom, but I didn't see.
Yeah, so this is one eye to make two eyes.
Yeah.
And then even if you played here, you still have like some room to run around in, right? Like so I think you still had, some chances of fighting here, like, because if he has to protect himself, you might be able to kill this group.
Yeah. I was, and you can see the other game just sort of upset with myself for, I don't know.
This one doesn't work, but yeah, I think you lost by emotions on this one.
Yeah.
But because I don't think it's too hard to find this one. Because if white plays here, then you connect this.
Yeah. I just wasn't looking hard enough to make an eye. I was looking to get out, and then when I couldn't get out, I thought the hell with it.
All right, fair enough. What made you upset about this game? Like, at what point were you like really upset at yourself?
So first of all, I was upset with the lower left-hand corner,
The
not
original.
Atari. I mean, that was just, you know, I
Wait, are
mean,
you talking about this one or something
no,
else?
no. So go ahead. Yeah.
Oh,
okay,
yes.
yeah. So
Okay,
I should have just gone there.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
don't know what I was doing.
Yeah. I mean, I think you wanted to live in the corner more than anything, but yeah, this is it's you. I don't think you can live down here. Well,
Yeah.
technically you can because you did, but but it should. I know you feel bad because this is like looks stupid now,
Yeah,
right? And
yeah,
then
yeah.
and then you have to struggle all
So-
this time.
Yeah. So this is, I can tell you exactly what it is. I feel like I should know better. I'm playing too close to Chip Stones, right? And I make a misread, and then I go, then I have to struggle to find life or something. I'm not. Well, so it's a combination of apparently making errors and then not handling the aftermath of those errors that well.
All right. Yeah, fair enough. I mean, I can definitely teach you the what's happening here.
Right.
But what you need to do is you need to find a way to calm yourself down after you make a mistake. Was this a chorus? Oh yeah, you don't play correspondence.
No. He and I played yesterday. So
yeah. Sometimes when you lose like a big group or something, sometimes you just gotta take your hand off the mouse and you just gotta breathe a couple of times and like reassess everything.
Yes.
It's the same when I play in real life. So I find that if I'm always touching the stones, if I have my hand in the bowl the whole game, I'll always want to play a stone right away. So a lot of the times I'll purposely take my hand off of the stones and like put them in my lap and just sit there and like breathe and like try and calm myself down. Because have you played a lot of people in person or maybe?
I mean, not for years,
I don't know if you recall, but like 9 or 8 out of 10 players always have their hand in the bowl, ready to.
Yes, that would be me.
Yeah, ready to play.
Or
the next
probably I
move.
have a couple in my hand, ready.
Yeah. So Korean players they do this thing that I have to purposely like calm myself down for. Is what they do is they fiddle the stones. They literally put their hand in the bowl and they like
and make a noise.
Yeah, and they fiddle their hands and like put the ghost stones through their fingers and like it's just it's constant noise and I'm all like to me it's either two things, it's or both of them, right? Like I think it's like one, they just are restless and they're ready to play the next move. And two, I think that like they know it's distracting, right? Like to the other player.
Right. It's it's gamesmanship.
Yeah. And I don't know if it's truly a Korean thing, but one of the Korean players I played a lot in the Massachusetts club, he does it, and so I'm like, yep, yeah, it seems. And a Chinese thing too. I think some Chinese players I know do it as well. So anyway, point is
be calm.
In this game you lost to your emotions more than your skill.
Yeah.
And that's unfortunately I can't teach you, but I can tell you some tactics, and one of them is just taking your hand off the mouse, right? And just like taking a step to breathe and like step back. Ooh, it's rough. I've lost from emotions plenty of times, you know what I mean? So like I'm definitely not a master at that.
So this is a player from the Benkyo.
Okay, the Benkyo League.
Yep. Yeah, and he it's a 4-stone game. So again, I'm not, I'm no expert at this. Even though the computer liked that move.
The one you did? Yeah. So this is building a wall, and which is facing this way. So this is a good move. Yeah, I like this one. So that's why it's good, if you're questioning why it's good. But yeah.
No, I mean, I actually had studied this part. I knew, you're supposed to keep the person, the better player, unbalanced. So I have the wide pincer. And, okay, and here, okay, Now what?
I think what you played is fine. It pushes. Sometimes. Yeah, I think it's fine. I didn't really have too much of a problem with it.
Okay.
So this was a little questionable, but I think it's fine. I checked with the computer and it was fine. The problem was
Yeah.
here.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's just very quickly study some of these moves. So maybe you could have played something like this to prevent him from getting in the corner, but I do like this because you're just trying to seal him off, right? Which is good for in your case. Maybe another move like this would be better for sealing. It can get riskier, but you're fine, right? All your stones are strong and out, and these stones are strong and out. Not technically very strong, but they're strong enough, right? And so this looks pretty weak. If this is alive and this is alive. But anyway, I still think yours is fine. This was good. This looks good to me too. And then of course, this is the right move. So why is this right and this one wrong? Can you tell me why this is
well, in the end I got cut off. So but if he extends now.
He's at 2 cutting points, right? So this is very good for you.
I see.
Which cut would you do? The top or the bottom?
I guess I would cut.
Read them both before you answer, right? Like if this was a real game, you should be reading both of them.
Well, cutting on the bottom does not look all that attractive. I mean, I think he can catch it, whereas at the top, can't do anything. He'll push up. This is why this didn't look good to me at the time. If I think cutting on the bottom is probably better.
Yeah, that's what I would pick too. So if he attires this way, obviously this is good for you, right? Because this is weak and this is weak. So if he fixes one, you kill the other. If he plays this way, all right, you'll be able to capture him.
Right.
This is dead.
Right.
This is also dead. And so cutting on the bottom is correct.
Okay.
So when we have the opportunity to create the Romeo-Juliet split, this is what we want to do. Not only is it creating Romeo and Juliet, it's also opening up this weakness. So if he has to play here, then you just got your full connection.
Right.
Which he should do because this is wrong, right? Because we see how wrong it is. So yeah, this was a big mistake. When I saw it, I was like, ooh,
So I see. So, but I'm trying to figure out, like, how can I put this in quotes, is it just reading? I mean, I know exactly why I didn't push, because then I'm going to look like it's cut. Right?
So for me, without having to read too far, right? I can see that if I play here, then I'm going to be cut, and then I can't make eyes down here. I don't, or at least it doesn't look like it to me, right? Like this looks like it's dead. Is it dead? It looks dead. If black plays this, it actually looks kind of alive. That looks alive. So maybe white would have to play this, and then here. All right, it looks a little riskier than I thought, but to me, this still looked pretty risky at the time. So instead, I can just see by poking through here that it creates a weakness, and then I'll be able to connect. Or if he fights me, then I have 2 weaknesses I can play with.
Okay.
So the only thing I can really tell you is that one, getting your reading up will help you.
Yeah.
So if you read, because you said you tried reading it, right? You said this didn't look good to you because you couldn't see that this was a good move, right?
Right.
But
Right.
this is only a 1, 2, 3 read. Then you'd have to add 4, 5, and 6. But either way, once you see that he can't capture you, like this is it. Right? This
Right.
is
Right.
um. So, and I know you can read 3 moves. I know you
Yeah.
can. I've seen
Yeah.
you do it.
Yeah.
But yeah. I mean, instinctually, I would just want to cut my opponent apart.
Yes. Okay. All right. That makes sense.
That's the most I can give you. But this one, even though it's an empty triangle, it's very powerful. So you lived, which was good. But it does feel bad that this got cut off, right?
Seriously.
Yeah, and it just looks like a lump of stone, so it's really not making you any points either.
Yeah. Yeah.
So this was good. You kind of escaped, and then you moved on, which is good. There was some things. So like this is a good poisoning move, right? It paralyzes your opponent.
Mm-hmm.
And so he can't make an eye here, right? This is the false eye shape.
Right. Right.
So this would have been a nice move to play right away. Because technically white doesn't have 2 eyes down here yet. I think you could argue that like this isn't 2 eyes yet. So paralyzing him, it feels really nice. This is like the shape point.
Yep.
But I do like that, once you got what you felt was enough safety, you then took a big move. So I really like this. I like the kick. I think this is all good. This is where the paralyzing move would have been good again, just to fill it out, and then maybe you'd want to play this after. But so you played this immediately, which was fine. And then now let me ask, without you trying to remember what you did in the game, which way would you block and why? Which way should you block and why?
Well, so A has more room, of course, but B tries to separate the two. Let's hope I chose A. No, I bet I chose B.
So yes, you chose B. When we look at B though, what are we getting here? Is this like a lot?
No, but if those 3 stones died, wouldn't I be sad?
Yeah, but would they die, right? Like if we played like this, I don't think they're gonna die.
Yeah.
If he plays like this, you could technically lose them, but you get a full corner, right?
Yeah.
Just like how we saw in the other game with Chip.
Yeah. Yeah.
So he should play something like this or this, something that makes his corner alive. And then no matter which one he plays, you get this move next, which should be fine, right? Like
Right.
even if you lose just the 1 stone here, like this is nice, right?
Right. Right.
This is like really nice because you can just keep going with it. You could get a double Atari here or something.
Yeah.
So your concern was keeping these alive. That's what your concern was, right?
Yes. Yeah.
But if we get more familiar with this, pincer and then jump in, you can see that this would be, you'd be able to connect.
Would have been fine. Yeah.
Yeah. So this is the much more valuable side, and this side just isn't worth a lot of points. So this is the decision. These are the type of decisions that will make you lose these handicap games, because once we can go through the motions of the Joseki, you really didn't make anything, and then white took a lot from you. So even though you could say white didn't make a lot of points, by taking a lot from you, it did its job. It did a good job, right? And so this was a very bad decision that hurt your game a lot. So this is where you had to escape. You could play like this. So if you need to, this allows you to move further, right? Like if he tries to cut you, this is good. And then same with something like this, right? So you could push further. This is okay too, though. It's putting pressure on the 2 stones, pressure on the 3 stones. Now would be a good time to play this.
Okay.
So usually we talk about getting hit on the head of 2 stones, right?
Right.
And
Or
we
3.
Yeah, and we talk about getting hit on the head of 3. But once they have 4, there's not really much head hitting at this point. And so you can Knight's move, and it still has that same effect where you'd be fine, right?
Yeah.
You'd be able to connect to this Knight's move.
Yeah.
If he tries to cut you like this, you can connect this. So very, very important to understand how the hitting the head of 2 and 3 stones work. But then after 4, then you can move on. So you have 2 weaknesses here.
Yes.
And this seems to be the theme of the week, right? The theme of the week. But yeah, when you have 2 weaknesses, you want to fix one. So the hante move, or the real move in Japanese, is usually this one here.
Right.
So by pushing here, if white Atari'd like this, maybe you would be okay. Like, maybe this is actually, well, no, it doesn't look okay, because this would die. Right? Like this, I think you can, maybe it won't. Let me see. Actually, don't think it will die. Wow. Can it? Because you can never net it, because this is 2 versus 2. So then, well, maybe you're okay then. I was scared. Maybe I was scared of this for nothing, but let me just, because this happened. Then this. I was missing this move I played here. But yeah, okay. Yeah. So this is why that was wrong. So if we look at it, and if he plays here, I don't think that white can live here. I mean, I guess white could just do this, but yeah, I guess white always has this in its back pocket.
Yeah.
But I still like fixing the aji and making sure there's no issue.
Yeah.
Because this, to me, like, especially when he got this move, these 2 got cut, and so you had to spend moves to live here, and it wasn't guaranteed. It wasn't guaranteed that you were gonna live here.
Don't we think that doesn't that guarantee life now?
It does now.
Okay.
But what I'm saying is, I don't think you were guaranteed it. Like, maybe you were. But I still feel bad where you have to play these moves, right?
Right.
But you did good living here. So both times you like played out a move that would give you life, which was good. But both times you got sealed in.
Yeah. No. I mean, it was,
which is bad.
I really felt pushed around,
Yeah. And the reason that you got kind of in this predicament is playing this extra move.
Yes.
So instead, once you can't hit the 3 stones anymore, then you can jump out like this. And this will allow you to move faster.
Yes.
So he can't catch you. You'd be able to kill the weaknesses. So, but by playing slower, he hit your head, and then you got boxed in.
Yeah.
So I think either way would have been fine. I was trying to figure out if this would have been better, but I think either way,
neither was that good to me.
Right? Yeah, neither are good, because white's here and then white's here, so it's bad. And we could see that if black had a stone this way, then it would have looked good. This would have been much better, right?
Right.
But because white's here now, it's not as good. So usually after this, usually black tanukis now.
Okay. Michael, I need to learn this.
Yeah.
Some weakness in my knowledge.
Yeah, because the 3-3 is always gonna happen, right?
Yeah.
Like this 3-3 invasion.
Yeah.
So remembering that you can Tanuki after this is fine.
Yeah.
Because if you answer, then he can play over here,
Yes.
which
Yes.
makes your wall stupid, right?
Yep. Yep.
So normally this is when you just say, okay, you can come out if you want to, which is normally against your teachings, right? Your teachings is to seal your opponent in,
Yes. Yes.
right? And so I see why you want to play this naturally. But there's some times where you don't, and this is the time, right?
Yeah.
It's when it's these 3-3 invasions where they force you to build a wall, and then you have to make the wall useful, or the game's not going to be good.
Yep.
But yeah, he was able to undercut you. And
Yeah. So this was where I was just so.
so
I did not do this correctly. This is where I was just so upset. Okay.
Yeah, I think if you just played here, it would have been fine.
This was obviously wrong, and I misread it. So
yeah, because he can't push forward anymore, right? Because you're just good. Like this is just good for you. But by playing here,
I just get killed.
Yeah, you need a new move, right? You need to play this bad move, but you didn't want to play an empty triangle, and then that got you killed.
Yeah.
So yeah, just playing here would have solved the problem. You went for the easy Atari, which is very natural for new players. They always want just Atari stuff, right?
Yeah.
But in this case, as you see, it just hurts you because you lose a liberty.
Right.
Whereas this one, you've gained 2 liberties.
Yep.
So I think that was like the main big things. Because at this point of the game, if we just assess the game here, we can see that where's
White has all the territory.
Yeah.
Black has none.
Yes, exactly. So the question is where's Black's territory, right? So very small, very, it's a medium size. Nothing, right? Like because
Nothing.
White's here,
Yep.
there's nothing, and then
Yep.
another medium. Whereas
Yep.
White has a good size one, good size, especially with the kill, good size, medium size, I'd say. So yeah, it's very difficult now for Black to win this game, especially facing a much stronger player. And a lot of it was direction of play in this game.
Yeah.
So we'll let's find the key moments here. This was a good direction of play decision, this one. But once you missed this move and got cut, now it's very bad for Black because A is very weak and B is very weak. So it was not good here. So this was the first big mistake.
Yeah. And this is the other one.
Yeah, I mean, it's not the biggest mistake, but direction of play mishaps like this makes it so that you fall far behind in points, right?
Right.
Because once you play here, you've probably gotten like maybe 10, 15 points, but then White got 10, 15 points, and then White even has more of a chance to develop than you.
Yeah.
And so this decision of playing this way was the wrong decision and put you behind in points. Whereas this one, it's not guaranteed that you're gonna make these points, but when he does invade, you'll be able to fight, and as you fight, you're gaining a lot of points on the top side, right? Like as long as you keep fighting him from even this direction, right? He's gonna have to make some moves to live, and you're clearly building a very big top here. So even if you can't make the points with your wall, you can use your wall to fight. But that didn't happen. So this was the second big mistake. This one and then this one, and then this is a very minor thing, but it's good to know, right? Like this technique is very good to know.
Yeah.
But it didn't. What happened with all this? Is that White got a big wall, which is gonna affect the rest of your board here.
Yes.
So that's exactly what happened. White got a big wall and then broke up your area here.
Yeah.
Like I said, I can't tell you which one's better. They both kind of look bad, and then the reason being is just because this is here and then this is here.
Yeah.
So yeah, after that you had a little bit more of a chance, but it ended with this move.
Yeah. So there were three. I mean, there were two errors in reading or judgment, and one in direction of play. So
Yeah. So it's definitely a good lesson. I think you can take away a lot from this game, and especially the other game you played with Chip.
Yeah.
It gives you a lot to think about. But but all in all, I mean, things are going good. I see slight improvements, and then I see some misjudgments. But we can keep working at it.